Well, it snuck up on me a little bit there. I was trying thanks for stopping in with us for a minute here. We finally found a place where we could broadcast. We have what have we done here, Chris? We've officially commandeered a suite.
Yeah, I would say that. Well, no, you know what? Here's the thing.
We actually went pretty by the book.
All the rumors that you hear about the people in Nebraska, they're all true. They've all been super accommodating. It's been obviously the game went the way we wanted it to go, but in terms of like the folks that work here and help out around here, yeah, we're in one of the suites doing our post game.
So this is pretty cool. We were going to have that be the backdrop. So we're in a suite right here in Memorial Stadium, and the backdrop was too bright behind us, though. So here we are. Not the greatest thing to look at with us two dinks in the wall back here. And what'd you say? There's a lot of freaking red in here.
A lot.
We got Matt Rule on the press conference on the TV above us up here. I'm not sure what he could be saying at this point. Lots of Nebraska paraphernalia around. Actually, is that Lee Corso wearing a Wolverine helmet right there?
No, that is an ear of corn.
It's a corn. Okay. Well,
it's an ear of corn.
All right, ear of corn. Thought it might have been a Wolverine at first glance. I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to put my arm around you.
Please.
45-7, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you were down there shooting photos in the 90-degree weather.
Cooking.
Decided you had seen enough because Michigan was absolutely drubbing Nebraska.
Yep.
And you came back up to the booth, watched the rest of the game, and they were dominant. I mean, you hate – we talked about this. You hate that almost every week they get up by so much. They put in the backups and the other team scores, which happened again today, a 74-yard touchdown run. But besides that, dude, a shutout. They couldn't run the ball. I mean, that quarterback is not built to throw the ball. So it was really one-sided, and Michigan just cruised.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody out there that was watching, it would have been the first shutout for Nebraska at home since 1968. So, the Wolverines came close to making some history. But I think overall, everybody was curious. You look at the first 4 weeks, how the team performed. It wasn't like they were playing bad, but they weren't quite living up to what everybody expected. And then, you're curious what that's going to look like on the road in an environment like Lincoln, where things can be tough from time to time. But it became clear very early on that the Cornhuskers were going to be overmatched. And a dominant afternoon by the Wolverines. And I think this is kind of a statement game. A lot of people were questioning just how good is Michigan. The competition isn't good. I know that Nebraska, at 2-2 prior to this game, they're not world beaters. But to come in here and to dominate the way that Michigan did, I think really helped set the tone for the rest of the season, certainly going into Minnesota next weekend for the primetime game there. It's hard to be upset with you did a 3-up. Typically it's 3-up, 3-down. There was nothing to complain about today.
Really wasn't.
I mean, that's really the way the afternoon went. But to your original point, Brandon, first time all year that I've come up from the field to the press box at halftime because I was dying. I was dying down there. I thought I might need a medic to come give me liquids and take me off somewhere. So I came up.
You straight up said, you're like, I've seen enough.
enough.
I got the phone. And honestly, by that point, not to say that those dudes aren't important, but you would have got photos of backups, third stringers, walk on. I mean, that's what happens when you're up 45-0. It was a really impressive performance. I will say this though. I don't. There's a lot of teams in the Big Ten that Michigan fans despise. The Michigan States of the world probably don't like Penn State that much. Certainly Ohio State. I don't know. Maybe other teams. I don't really have any bad blood for Nebraska. And being here, I wish this team was good because this place, the stadium is sweet. The pregame traditions that they obviously have a ton of on-field success in the past. They haven't been good for a long time, and they're in the West, so that probably doesn't really matter. That's all going away anyways. But I don't know, man. This was a cool place. We kind of made a last-minute decision to come here. For a while there, we were thinking we weren't going to. I'm glad we did. It was a cool place to be. The game certainly was pretty lopsided, so this place didn't get rocking very much. A lot of fans left because it was hot as hell outside. Yeah. You even said, the people sitting way up top just
God
like an egg.
Bless them. There were maybe 500 fans near the very top that were in the sun the entire afternoon. And Nebraska fans, diehards, they stayed the entire afternoon into the slight evening. But yeah, I mean, again, cool trip. We decided to do it last minute. For anybody who's ever made the drive from Michigan out to Nebraska, Brandon, I knew that there were fields in Middle America, but I didn't know there were that many. It just was millions and millions of acre.
And just expansive, just as far as you can see, man.
It was a long trip, about 11-hour drive, but a beautiful trip. And we got to get on the road and make the trip back. We're going to start that journey tonight. But yeah, I'm glad that we checked this one out. First time here for you as well.
Yeah,
right? So for both of us, our first time here, and for anybody in the future that's thinking about coming out to Lincoln to see a football game, especially if Michigan's out here, I would encourage it, because everything, like I said, the rumors are true. Everybody was super helpful, super kind. The environment here is great. And yeah, you kind of wish Nebraska was, even though you wanted to see Michigan beat the shit out of them, you kind of wish Nebraska was a little bit better, because the fans here certainly, I mean, they care about the Cornhuskers.
There's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they've got I'm looking at the sign right here, the Boneyard, the student section, which was like empty by before halftime. I mean,
How about let's talk about actually some of what we saw on the field. Yeah. Can I just say, listen, I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but I have been on the Roman Wilson train for a very long time leading up to the season.
You liked him more than most, and
more than most.
A lot of people like him, but you were.
No, I viewed him as somebody who was, borderline elite that everybody around the country would know as the season went on. And I had a front row seat down on the field for that catch he made in the first quarter. The catch was too damn close to me. My lens couldn't pick it up. But if you go back and you watch the replay on Fox, I wasn't even looking through my camera anyway. I was asleep at the wheel down there. That catch he made was absolutely incredible. He had 2 touchdowns today. Is that right?
Yep. That was my second up, as a matter of fact. Roman Wilson is still him.
Probably still leading the Big Ten in touchdown receptions. I mean, the connection between Roman and JJ is just absolutely incredible. JJ, another efficient afternoon. What were the numbers there on JJ?
Yeah, so JJ was 12 of 16 for $156 and 2 touchdowns, and he had the 21-yard touchdown run. I mean, that's another one of my ups. I mean, JJ McCarthy, when he's clean and he's not trying to do too much. I mean, he had his bump in the road against Bowling Green, but when he's on, dude, he's as good as anybody in the country. Yeah, he's not throwing for 400, but he doesn't need to. He threw for 150, 2 touchdowns, ran another one in. They win 45-7 on the road, and he looks as good as anybody throwing the ball anywhere.
When we were up in the press box, there was somebody sitting next to me, and he just kept saying the word over and over, methodical. And that's what Michigan was. It didn't, they made some big plays, but there was no point today during this football game where it felt like Michigan was ever in danger of the lead slipping. No. I mean, they were in complete control from start to finish. Again, that's exactly what you want to see for the first road game of the season. And then when you look ahead to, what the environment's going to be in Minneapolis, it's a primetime game, another one on the road. I think if you're the Michigan Wolverines, you got to have all the confidence in the world going in there that you can also take care of business, come back to Ann Arbor 6-0. And so it's looking like, Brandon, that Week 10 matchup with Penn State, we're all still. And look, Penn State, I don't know what the final score was, but I remember looking up, and I think it was going into halftime. It was 10-10. So, it really speaks to. Well, it might have ended up dominant.
41-13.
There you go. But going into the half,
time.
Right. So what overall point being is, when you look around college football, and even when you look around the Big Ten Conference, it's completely wide open. And I think if you're a Michigan football fan, you got to like the Wolverines' chances.
Georgia barely beat Auburn today, by the way. You probably didn't even 27-20.
Okay.
It was tied.
So there you go.
2 or 3 minutes to go in the game. So, yeah, like you just
said. Was that
with
former Spartan quarterback Peyton Thorne leading the way?
That's it. So my 3 up, Chris, just real quick. I mean, we don't need to spend a ton of time on it. We're coming up on 10 minutes now. We do want to get going here a little bit.
Yeah.
My first one was just, Michigan's defense is just so complete. I mean, you got, whether it's just the front 4 rushing, or if Jesse Minter wants to sprinkle in an exotic blitz with Junior Colson or Mike Barrett or a DB, or you've got Mikey playing the nickel, or you've got your full complement of corners and defensive backs back there. Kenneth Grant gets a pick today off of a tip ball by Braden McGregor after they work a stunt. I mean, it just all works. And again, if it weren't for the 174-yard busted play with 4 minutes to go, they pitch a shutout for the first time in 70 years in this building, which is incredible. Roman Wilson, again, we touched on him. He just, dude, like the stuff that they're doing, okay, so the first catch was insane.
Yeah.
The second play is so difficult, and JJ and Roman both made it look like just backyard catch with your dad. I mean, it's like JJ rolling out to his left. The throw was on the money. Roman sprinting across the back of the end zone on a scramble drill, stabs it with his hands, gets his feet inbound. I mean, like, that's a really hard play, and they both made it look really, really easy. And then the last one was JJ McCarthy. I mean, when he's on track, he's lights out. I mean, he had 4 incompletions today, another 150 yards. Like I said, not gaudy numbers, but responsible for 3 touchdowns, making all the right plays, cruising out of bounds on runs again, didn't even take a hit, I don't think, was not sacked. I mean, dude, this team now with Georgia struggling today, I mean, I think they struggled a little bit with South Carolina a week or two ago, but ended up pulling away. I think with this win today, Michigan winning 45-7, they're now the only team that has literally like not struggled at all. I know some people have worded it that they struggled with Bowling Green. They didn't.
That was not a struggle.
They didn't struggle. I mean, it could have been double that if JJ doesn't throw those interceptions. But I mean, point being, and I still don't even think they're playing their best ball. That's the crazy thing. They're like rolling these teams, and I still think they've got another level in a couple areas. But
I mean, several. I mean, I was going to say, how crazy is it? And, you know, we'll probably talk about this a little bit on Monday. But again, 5 weeks into the season, Donovan Edwards has not scored a touchdown yet. We really haven't seen him
neither has Colston Loveland.
Neither has Colston Loveland. So those are two big elements to this Michigan offense that we really haven't seen through 5 weeks in the season. And you got to believe that they're only going to get better. So, yeah, man, I mean, you know, you look at this team and you should be excited about the fact that there's still plenty to get better at, and they're dominating, particularly in the first road game. So, again, I think the trip was worth it. It was nice to come out here and see it firsthand. And I'm excited to get on the road, man. I'm looking forward to let's get this 11-hour trip underway. Let's just put 11 hours
just on the road
down on the highway.
How about Jaden Donegal real quick? Peyton O'Leary threw a little dart touchdown to him. No. We've been pining for the quarterbacks to throw some passes.
We saw Jack Tuttle.
Jack Tuttle threw a couple. He went 3 for 4. Anything else that we need to say? I mean, Donovan Edwards a little bit more. You know, he had 48 yards rushing on 14 carries. You know, Donovan's kind of in an interesting spot. I said this today too. Like, they took Blake Corum out. Donovan is technically your backup running back, even though he's like 1B. And so then he's in there with some backup linemen. They know they're running the ball, so it's kind of like he was almost like the sacrificial lamb part of the third quarter, and they're just handing it to him, knowing they're running the ball, and just Jack Tuttle's in, so they're handing it off to him. That's a tough spot to be in. He's not going to pop off any big runs when Nebraska's selling out against the run, and you got backup linemen in there. But Kalel Mullings, dude, that touchdown run he had, I'm like, that's a linebacker.
Impressive, yeah.
Like, making that kind of run, you understand why he was recruited the way that he was. Darius Clemens made an appearance today, a couple nice catches by him. Yeah, Colston Loveland only had 1 grab today. I mean, like, the offense still has other elements to it that we haven't seen yet, and it's kind of scary because they just won 45-7 in Lincoln without really breaking a sweat. So
yeah. I broke a sweat today.
You probably did break a sweat.
I broke a sweat, and we're going to break another sweat on the way. What's the restaurant? Where are we stopping?
Well, we're having Runza meat pockets.
Apparently, it's like a meat pocket with some cabbage in it.
I'm down.
We were told we need to make the stop before we get out of Nebraska. Once again, Brandon, 11 hours we got to put on the highway here. We got to – what is it? We're not plugging them, but what's the Runza?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the name of the restaurant or what they call the little meat. I don't have no idea.
Little meat pocket before we get out of Nebraska here. You know, win in Rome. So yeah, impressive win for Michigan. 5-0. Live to fight another week. Excited for prime time next weekend, man, in Minnesota.
Yeah, Saturday night. Now we're heading back. We'll be back on the show on Monday night.
Yeah,
that'll be that. Michigan moves to 5-0. Gonna be 6-0. Gonna be 7-0. I mean,
don't jinx it.
It's kind of the formula right now. But did some people think there was actually going to be some trouble today? Didn't some of the talking heads have that?
I think it won. Mr. Urban Meyer thought that the Wolverines would have their hands full.
That's what it was. Yeah. And then JJ's on the sidelines with no helmet in the third quarter. He's kissing his girlfriend while the game's going on, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
what a snoozer. 45-7, man.
Easy day at the office.
Boneyard. All right, we'll see you guys on Monday night. Safe travels for the boys, right? Jeez, 11 hours, dude.